Hi, fellow engineers. It's Scout Wilkins checking in with my engineered build to solve a problem related to food. The problem I chose was impulse buying at Costco. I call this my Costco Simplifier because I don't know about you, but I can so easily get taken off my game when I go into Costco for some reason. The urgency of the deal stops me in my tracks. I don't make good decisions. I come home with way more than I need, wondering what I was thinking. So I decided to solve that problem for this engineering process. And I know that I started out talking about or thinking about coming up with some way to reward myself if I made a good decision. But then I realized that I couldn't really do that on the spot in Costco. It couldn't help me with my decision necessarily because I wouldn't know how my decision panned out until I got home. So I couldn't reward myself on the spot. So I thought what I needed to do actually was to get better in my thinking. And I realized that this is actually a problem I deal with all the time in my guiding. That what I do in my guiding is I take people into country, territory, where they are not feeling safe, they're not sure of themselves, there's something, it's an adventure for them. So by definition, there's some level of risk. By definition, me being the guide, I have more information, more skill, more experience, more something that's helping them feel safe. And so I thought, well, heck, I think I can use what I use in my guiding to help myself at Costco. And it turned out to be true. It turned out to be great. One of the key insights I have about my guiding came from the owner of the company I last guided for, Jonathan Zambella of the Zion Guru. He was talking to us in one meeting about company values, and he said the company values are safety, fun, and learning. We keep people safe. We try to make sure they have fun, and if we have leftover energy, we make sure they learn something or try to make it possible. So it was years ago that we had that conversation, and I've sort of molded that over time, and I've come to see that where it was sort of presented as a hierarchy, it's not at all a hierarchy, it's a triangle. It's a triangle whose sides are safety, fun, and learning. And depending on who you have in a group and what the situation is, what the circumstances are, depending on a million variables, that triangle is going to be different. So you can see here that I built a machine that can play with the ratios of a triangle. So I got to thinking about my experience in Costco, and what's actually true, I know it's true because I freeze up and I stop thinking clearly. I'm not feeling very safe. That I can tell you. This is what my experience looks like. I could be having fun. I'm probably in some way having fun because I like to learn. I like a certain amount of risk. But clearly my safety is so narrow, I've frozen. I've blown out my system. I'm no longer thinking. So what I need to do is bring the safety back in relationship to the fun I'm having in the learning. And so as I think about this, and I think about, well, what would increase my safety in Costco in that situation, it's fairly clear to me that what I need to do is slow down, come into my body. I know how to do that. I need to ask myself better questions. I can carry, and this can help me realize that I need to come up with a stable of questions that I can ask myself. And in fact, I made another triangle for my Costco questions, which are, how much do I actually need it? Am I prepared to deal with the consequences of buying this amount? And really, for me, it turns out that one of the really important questions is, do I really love it? Do I really love it enough to be able to handle the hassle? I'm going to get the deal. I like the deal. I may love the deal, but do I love the item enough to make it worth the hassle? Those are the sides that I'm playing with. The deal is set. We know what the deal is. What is my desire and what is the hassle. And so I play with that ratio. I just need to remember to think about all those. And so what my experience has been, what I've learned through this is not something I'm saying I'm going to carry into Costco. This is something I'm playing with at my desk. And what happened today that was really interesting was that as I started to raise my own awareness about where I'm feeling less safe, I began to notice what I could do about that. I began to come into my body where I could even ask the question, am I feeling safe? What else is going on here? Maybe that's the big question. What else is going on here? How can I increase my safety so that I can start playing with fun and learning? One of the things I can tell you with this video is just thinking about the video can be very intimidating. But once I make myself safe by saying, okay, Scout, remember, this does not have to be perfect. These are your peers and friends. We're all learning here together. So I bring the learning back into it. I remember I'm learning. That increases my safety. I don't have to get it so perfect. And so that's where I am with this right now. I have some other ideas that I really want to build into this. You'll see I put a hole in the middle of it. I intend to keep playing with this. I want to have a way that I can demonstrate what happens when a person is actually terrified, is that the string will disappear into the hole and all these things get really tight. When you're actually frozen, the truth is, somebody else's phone ringing. The truth is your ability to think at all gets really diminished. And so I want to take this further. I'll feed the string down through the hole, and I'm going to use this as a teaching aid actually in my coaching and guiding so that I can demonstrate what happens when a person is terrified, is that they become unable to move or to think. And until you get more slack in the system and bring in more of the string, your capacity is really small. So how do you get more string? That's another iteration of this build. So this is where we are right now. It made me think a lot about triangle thinking, which is something I think a lot about anyway. But I think the biggest insight that I had in this is realizing, especially after watching Mark's squirrel video, I actually really realized how amazing humans are at math, that we are doing incredible math all the time. We're just like that squirrel that managed to figure out how to always land in the right place, lock his gaze on that where he wanted to land and move his body to make it happen. So we're doing math like that every time we decide where we need to turn to go in driving, every time we try to catch a ball. I mean, Mark has showed this a bunch of times in different ways. But it's really true that every time we make a calculated estimate about, I mean, everything we do, really, we're doing differential calculus, really. And we're doing that at such a deep level, we don't even know we're doing it. But what takes us offline of being able to do that is having too many variables and too much overwhelm. And so reducing the known variables, there's always going to be a million variables, but reducing the ones that I'm actually thinking about to 3 and focusing on those, choosing the triad that matters and focusing on that really makes a difference in being able to access your intuitive ability to do a great job deciding. I'll give one more example of this triangle thinking idea, and that's when my husband and I had a design build business for custom homes. And the triangle we used there to help people stay focused on how to solve the problem of design was a 3 elements. It was designing a home requires a balance of 3 elements. The size it's going to be, the quality of choices that are going to be made, and the budget. Those are a triangle. You can set 2 of them. The third is going to be where it is when you set those 2. Or you can massage them. You can take some square feet out. You can add some quality. But thinking in terms of triangles simplifies the whole thing, makes it possible to talk about and think about what the problem actually is and how to solve it. So I guess this is a triangle thinking way to not come home from Costco with more than I want, or if I do, to remember that I was learning, so I don't take myself offline, I don't attack myself, but I can carry that learning into my next trip and say, remember, not so many sweet potatoes. Thank you very much. It's been a great project. So happy.